Battle through the firmament. Grand world. Chapter 371 Join forces. In the dense forest, Xiaoyan's figure was agile. With a few flashes, he passed through the dense bushes and undergrowth. His toes lightly tapped on the ground. Raising his head to take a look, Xiaoyan inhaled a deep breath of air and stretched his waist. He was practicing the second form of the profound martial arts in the desert. He had only barely learned it under the guidance of Xiao. Compared to the White Tiger spiritual spell, this second form of the Black Tortoise Dragon armor spell consumed a greater amount of Origin Monic Ki. With just one use, nearly half of the Origin Monic Ki was used up. Although the defensive ability of the Black Tortoise Dragon rock wall was much higher, the consumption of Origin Monic Ki was too great. It was as if there was a treasure vault, and one could only take out a little of it at a time. This feeling was extremely torturous. It had been 2 days since Xiaoyan entered the forest. During these 2 days, he was extremely relaxed. He did not deliberately look for other students. Relying on his outstanding spiritual strength, he found a few rare medicinal ingredients. Most of them were supplementary medicinal ingredients used to refine 5th-rank medicine pills. Their practical value was relatively high. As for how much they were worth, Xiaoyan did not know. I feel like I can break through to the 5 Dao Emperor realm at any time. These few days, I will put in more effort and strive to break through as soon as possible. Xiaoyan carefully sensed the flow of the Origin Monic Ki within his body. He let out a soft sigh as his spiritual strength flowed out from his brows. Soon, he discovered an excellent training ground in a hidden mountain forest in the distance. "All right," he softly muttered. Xiaoyan temporarily put the matter of collecting points to the back of his mind. After a few leaps, he had already rushed into the distance. The urgent matter at hand was to raise his strength first. Within a surging mountain valley, Lu Xiangyang sat cross-legged on a limestone. He smiled as he looked at the 40-plus people in front of him. He coughed lightly and attracted everyone's attention. "Everyone, it is my great honor to have all of you here. Everyone knows that Xiaoyan is the strongest amongst all of us. If it was a one-on-one fight, I wouldn't be his match." A clear voice was heard. Lu Xiangyang stood up and looked at everyone with a dignified expression. "So, if we fight our own battles, the final result will only be defeated by him one by one, and all the points will be taken away by him. Although there are 2 people in Realm in Valley this time, it all depends on who the other person is. I'm sure none of you are willing to see such a thing happen." Lu Xiangyang's voice eased up, and he said with a smile on his face, "Captain Lu is right. I wonder what you have in mind." As soon as he finished speaking, a deep voice sounded. The speaker was a dark-skinned young man. He had a ferocious appearance and looked quite intimidating. His name was Yang Tao. He did not belong to the Punishment Department or the Elixir Association in the Inner Court. He had cultivated to the Emperor realm alone, and his talent was not weak. Many students turned the gazes towards Lu Xiangyang the moment Yang Tao spoke. The latter's words had also resonated with everyone. If that was really the case, it would be meaningless for them to participate in the competition for this spot. I don't deserve such a high opinion. I only have a few suggestions. Lu Xiangyang modestly waved his hand. However, there was a trace of pride in his eyes. "I am also a student, and I also want to enter the realm in Valley. However, I have a higher position in the academy compared to all of you. That's why I asked all of my brothers from the Punishment Department to gather everyone here. Before Xiaoyan makes a move, I have a plan. I just took a look and found that none of the participants from the Soaring Dragon ranking are present. They're all very strong, and they might be very confident in themselves. However, most of them are only emperors, and some of them are even Monic Spirit. Based on my research on the competition in the past years, it would be impossible for someone with such strength to stand out from the competition." Lu Xiangyang shook his head regretfully, causing the faces of a few Monic Spirit level students in the crowd to turn slightly pale. They had only participated because they were lucky. After Lu Xiangyang said this, The last bit of hope in their hearts dissipated. Sensing the change in the expressions of these students, the corner of Lu Xiangyang's mouth revealed a smile that no one noticed. This was the effect he needed. However, you don't have to worry. I have gathered all of you here to give everyone a chance to compete for this spot. As long as you trust me, I promise in the name of the Captain of Punishment Department that no one's score will be taken away by Shaoyan. After defeating Shaoyan, we will join hands to obtain the score. Lu Xiangyang patted his chest and said in a loud voice, "Why should we trust you? Even if it is as you said, only 2 people will be able to enter the realm in Valley after defeating Shaoyan. There are so many people here, who can enter." Everyone was slightly moved when they heard this. After hesitating for a moment, Yang Tao spoke decisively. His words hit the nail on the head and revealed the concerns of everyone. "Everyone, there is no need to worry about this, since I have already said it. After we defeat Shaoyan, all right, after everyone's points are equal, we will split up on the last day. At that time, no one would be able to attack anyone. It would depend on luck. Whoever could enter the realm in Valley would have to depend on the last day. This method, how about it?" Lu Xiangyang spoke out his thoughts in a deep voice. His eyes were sharp as he stared at the crowd. The origin key had quietly risen from the palm of his sleeve. Out of the 40+ people, nearly 20 of them belonged to the punishment department. The loyalty of these people could naturally be guaranteed, but the rest of them could not be guaranteed. "All right, let's do as Captain Lu says. We have no objections." When Lu Xiangyang's gaze swept over, some of the students belonging to the punishment department immediately voiced their agreement. When some of the students who were still hesitating saw this, they could only nod their heads in agreement. "All right, then this commander." Lu Xiangyang smiled and nodded his head when he saw everyone nodding their heads in agreement. He slowly opened his mouth to speak. "Captain Lu, you are the captain of punishment department in the academy, and you are the strongest amongst us. You are still needed as the commander." Some of the students looked at him and said hurriedly, Good, don't worry. If I break my promise, I will not be the captain of the punishment department after I go back." Lu Xiangyang laughed and said with a solemn expression. When Yang Tao heard this, he frowned. Although he felt that this fellow had other intentions, he had no other choice but to follow this fellow. "Since everyone has elected me as the leader, I won't be polite. Zhuang He, Wei Meng, Wu Jia, Zhao Yuanhao, the 4 of you will lead 10 students and split into 4 groups. If you find Shaoyan in the forest, inform the others immediately that they must not interfere. Only if all of us attack together will we be able to defeat him. Remember, that guy has the strength of a peak of Monarch King. He's definitely not a match for us." As he spoke, Lu Xiangyang took out a jade tube the size of a finger and gave it to Zhuang He and the other 3. Clearly, he had prepared for this. This is a red flame pipe. When you see Shaoyan, you will quietly crush this. The others will notice it. He reminded. Lu Xiangyang looked at the dense crowd in front of him, and a heroic spirit surged in his heart. "No matter how powerful you are still no match for me. I will let you see the power that I have gathered in Yunlo Academy for so many years." Chapter N. Battle Through the Firmament. Grand World. Chapter 372 5 Emperors. Boom. With a loud sound that was enough to shatter a mountain rock, Shaoyan slowly walked out of the dust that filled the air and flicked away the dust on his body. Shaoyan let out a breath, causing the foul air in his chest to be emptied. In 2 days, it is finally time for the 5 Tao Emperors. Clenching his fists tightly, Shaoyan gently smiled. When he thought of the flame mantra burning spell *, Shaoyan helplessly shook his head. Even though his strength had improved, his cultivation technique was still as weak as before. After entering the realm in Valley, he had to find a way to enter the illusory spirit space as soon as possible. But these past few days, why haven't I found any students passing by? Could it be that all of them have gone to look for rare herbs? He looked around. Shaoyan smacked his lips. In the past 2 days, during the process of advancing to the 5 Paths Emperor, he had occasionally used his soul force to observe his surroundings, but he did not see a single student passing by. Taking out the black token, the score on it had indeed decreased by half, becoming 150. The light blue number was slowly jumping. I have to get the points as soon as possible, or else I will not live up to the elders' arrangements. With a bitter smile, he put away the token. Xiaoyan raised his head and soul power surged out from his brows like a tidal wave, instantly covering the surroundings. Not a single person. The spiritual strength that could be used to refine 6th-grade medicine pills was already sufficient to cover an area of nearly 100 miles. In just a moment, Xiaoyan had thoroughly inspected this area. Strange. Xiaoyan opened his eyes and muttered softly. His face was filled with doubt. From his earlier inspection, he had seen some students. However, these people had actually gathered together. He pondered for a moment. Xiaoyan immediately rushed towards the crowd. No matter what he did or collected points, he had to get in touch with the others first. Brother Zhao, it has been 6 days, and we haven't found Xiaoyan yet. Could it be that 11 people were resting on the ground about 60 miles away from Xiaoyan? A young man with a delicate and pretty face looked at the pathetic score on the token and said bitterly to the leader of the group. Everyone turned to look at the leader of the group when they heard the question. Their eyes were also filled with helplessness. They had already searched this place for nearly 2 days. They couldn't even find Xiaoyan's shadow, and because of the joint efforts of all of them, the score couldn't be obtained either. Once 5 days were up, everyone's score had been reduced by half. The lowest score among them. It was only 10 points. The young man in the lead was Zhao Yuanhao, who was appointed by Lu Xiangyang. The latter was a figure that was second only to Lu Xiangyang in punishment department. In the last competition, he had lost to Bai Yongzhao. After that, he was ranked 13th in the Soaring Dragon ranking, and his strength had already reached the 4th Dao Emperor realm. Upon hearing this, Zhao Yuanhao sighed. How could he not be anxious? This time, he wanted to enter the realm in Valley as well, but he couldn't even see Xiaoyan's figure. This bastard was nowhere to be seen, not even his corpse could be seen. Whether it was Lu Xiangyang or him, both of them felt extremely uneasy. Let's wait for a few more days. My score is only 54 points left. I don't believe that Xiaoyan will never come out. Gritting his teeth, Zhao Yuanhao spoke in a deep voice. His dark face had become even more dignified. What, are you all waiting for me? A faint voice sounded after his voice sounded. In the next moment, a human figure had already gently landed on a huge rock a short distance away from everyone. Xiaoyan. Zhao Yuanhao suddenly recovered his senses. His face immediately turned ugly. He had actually not noticed that this fellow had quietly arrived here. Such a big formation. Xiaoyan looked at the others and smiled. Most of these people were emperors of 2 or 3 Daos. Even Zuna and Kalen could easily defeat 5 sovereigns of the Dao after using the heavenly weapon. These guys were not worthy of his attention. What are you doing here? Zhao Yuanhao immediately stood up and looked at Xiaoyan vigilantly. His finger in his sleeve shook and crushed a red flame pipe. I was asking you, could it be that all of you are here waiting to give me some points? Having advanced to the 5th Dao Emperor realm, Xiaoyan was in a good mood. He looked at Zhao Yuanhao and the 10 men behind him, who had nervous expression. What a joke. We are here, of course we have something to do. The corner of Zhao Yuanhao's mouth twitched as he casually said, where is Lu Xiangyang? Narrowing his eyes, Xiaoyan didn't want to spend too much time with these guys. A few days had passed. These guys with average strength probably didn't have many points. Lu Xiangyang was different. That guy wanted to enter the realm in Valley, but he almost went crazy. These days, he had probably gotten quite a number of points. If he could get those points directly, it would be more than enough. Why are you looking for him? Zhao Yuanhao stared at Xiaoyan and asked in a deep voice. He wanted to buy some time for the others. After seeing Xiaoyan's strength, he knew that none of them were a match for him. Nonsense. What else can we do? Of course, we have to split the spoils. Xiaoyan took out the blue flame ruler and smashed it hard on the huge rock, instantly creating a deep crack in the rock. He looked at Zhao Yuanhao with a mysterious smile and said, "I'm not in a hurry. I'll wait for him here." After saying that, he sat on the huge rock and hugged the blue flame ruler. He smiled as sweat flowed down his back. Zhao Yuanhao inhaled a deep breath of air, and even his voice trembled slightly. He opened his mouth, but did not know what to say. If he comes, it will save me a lot of trouble by collecting all the points. Xiaoyan's sharp eyes swept across the crowd behind Zhao Yuanhao. He pursed his lips as if he had noticed something. Arrogant. Even if you are ranked 4th on the Soaring Dragon ranking and can defeat a Peak of Monarch King, can you fight so many of us? A burly young man took a step forward and cried out. At the same time, Origin Kiss surged out from his body. He had already reached the level of 3 emperors. The Origin Kiss that surged out exploded with a loud bang. His aura was quite intimidating. It should be possible. Xiaoyan glanced at the burly young man in an indifferent manner. His expression did not change as he casually said, "Forget about these ordinary emperor experts. Even if there were 10 Lu Xiangyang, he would still be able to defeat them even if he used all his strength." "You." The burly young man was infuriated by Xiaoyan's simple and crude reply. He wanted to, not to fight. Upon seeing Zhao Yuanhao's gesture, although the burly young man was furious, he still had his reasons. Immediately, he gritted his teeth and stopped speaking. Humph. At this moment, Xiaoyan's eyebrows suddenly twitched. His eyes curiously looked into the distance. There seemed to be a strange fluctuation coming from that direction, and it seemed to contain endless rage and bestial force. It's the heavenly beast. In an instant, he analyzed the source of this fluctuation. Xiaoyan blinked his eyes and stood up. He wanted to go and see what was going on. If there was really a heavenly beast whose strength had been greatly reduced, defeating it would be far more than obtaining everyone's points. Xiaoyan, what's wrong? You want to secretly leave just like that? Isn't that a little too simple? Right at this moment, Lu Xiangyang's cold voice was heard from afar, and he was rapidly approaching the place. Xiaoyan raised his head and looked over. Lu Xiangyang had brought nearly 30 people with him, and was rushing over with great speed. The origin key on the spirit weapon in his hand was surging, and it was filled with a frightening aura. So you all have joined forces. No wonder. Xiaoyan was slightly stunned. Then, he looked at Zhao Yuanhao with a smile. The coldness contained in his smile made the latter shiver. This kind of killing intent was not something that the people of Punishment Department could possess. Xiaoyan, you can't blame us for this. You are too strong. You have scared all of us, so. In the crowd, Yang Tao's voice was like muffled thunder as he spoke in a rough voice. Ha, then I am honored. Xiaoyan laughed loudly when he heard this. His eyes swept across the dozens of people present, and the corner of his mouth revealed a trace of a smile. Lu Xiangyang, it seems like your means aren't enough. Why didn't Bai Yongzhao and the others follow us? He paused for a moment. Xiaoyan ignored the ugly expression on Lu Xiangyang's face. His body moved and he had already rushed into the distance. Only a smiling voice was slowly transmitted over. I have other matters to attend to, so I won't play with you guys anymore. Your so-called alliance. Who will benefit in the end? Tusk. Chapter End. Battle Through the Firmament. Grand World. Chapter 373 Acting Skills. Hearing Xiaoyan's meaningful smile, Lu Xiangyang's face darkened even more. He watched Xiaoyan leave with his eyes. Lu Xiangyang clenched his fist tightly, but he still held himself back. With Xiaoyan's speed, few of them could catch up to him. Captain, are we going to let him leave just like that? Zhuang He stepped forward with an unwilling expression. He thought that with so many of them, they would definitely be able to defeat Xiaoyan. He didn't expect that this guy would just leave without any intention of attacking. Don't worry, I think he has already discovered the whereabouts of the others. No matter what, he will have to fight us sooner or later. All of you, be careful and don't leave us alone. Lu Xiangyang let out a breath, turned around and said to the people behind him. They had not collected a single point in the past few days, and the points on the token had been reduced by half. These students were also extremely depressed. However, there was nothing they could do. They could only helplessly nod their heads. Let's split up. You guys can also find some rare medicinal herbs along the way. These can also add quite a number of points. A little irritated, Lu Xiangyang reminded them. He waved his hand and was about to let everyone leave when his expression suddenly changed. He immediately said in a deep voice, "Don't leave yet. Take the opportunity when Shaoyan goes to find the others. Let's go and take a look at that heavenly beast. It should be at the weakest stage right now." As he spoke, Lu Xiangyang took the lead and flew towards a direction in the forest, the lair of the heavenly beast. He had already found out everything about it. When the others heard this, their eyes revealed a trace of wild joy. After which, they all followed suit. The gloominess that they had felt over the past few days was instantly swept away. This place, the heavenly beast seems to have just left. Arriving at a canyon, Shaoyan took a closer look and found that the canyon was in a complete mess. The mountain rocks had shattered, and it was obvious that they had suffered a violent attack. Is it a blood flame scaled beast? Shaoyan squatted down and placed his palm on the mountain wall. He squinted his eyes and sent out his soul energy, carefully feeling the key imprint on the mountain wall. When he was fighting Mu Yiyu in the outer mountain, he had seen the key of the blood flame scaled beast from afar. Shaoyan had always remembered that key. A few days ago, he wanted to obtain the blood essence of the heavenly beast to refine the poison dissolving pill. He had even thought of using it. It really is this guy. Shaoyan withdrew his palm and opened his eyes. He frowned. Under the feeling of his soul energy, the blood flame scaled beast seemed to have suffered great pain. It was struggling, and its key was extremely weak. There are no signs of a fight either. He looked around. With a glance, he could clearly see the source of the collapse of the mountain. Clearly, the blood flame scaled beast was here. Something seemed to have happened to its body. Apart from the pain, it had also turned this place into a complete mess. After such a long time, its strength has yet to recover. It seems like its injuries have become even more serious. Shaoyan rubbed his chin and involuntarily mused. The reason why he had wanted to obtain the blood flame scaled beast earlier was because the latter's strength had been greatly reduced due to various reasons. He did not expect that it would still not recover after such a long period of time. Let's go and take a look. Shaoyan made up his mind. He followed the traces of the heavenly beast's departure and rushed into the deep mountains. However, he helplessly stopped a moment later. The traces of the blood flame scaled beast's movement had disappeared in this place. He had neglected the former's flying ability. I don't dare to delay any longer. The score is so low. Lu Xiangyang and the others have formed an alliance to specifically target me. Do you want to fight with them? Leaning against a huge rock, Shaoyan put this matter aside for the time being. When he thought of Lu Xiangyang and the others, he couldn't help but laugh and think about it carefully. Around 1,000 miles away from Shaoyan, there were very few trees. There were continuous mountain ranges that were like huge dragons lying horizontally. Next to the mountain range was the desert where Shaoyan had previously cultivated. In a canyon in the mountain range was a wide plain. The green grass on the ground was blooming. It was very exuberant, and it was even more verdant than the outside world. On the side of the grass field was a clear spring. The clear spring was only half the size of a square. Upon closer inspection, the spring water was like a thick liquid, as if it was emitting a unique fragrance. The fragrance spread in all directions, causing the green grass on the plains to grow even more vigorously and full of vitality. A woo! All of a sudden, a painful roar was heard from the cave beside them. Shortly after, a huge heavenly beast rushed out of the cave with a roar. It was the blood flame scaled beast that Xiaoyan had seen before. With a flap of the huge wings on its back, it shattered the mountain wall, causing millstone-sized rocks to fall in all directions, smashing onto the ground. When a huge rock was about to fall into the clear spring, the blood flame scaled beast immediately noticed it. As it breathed in and out, a powerful ki instantly shattered the rock. Before the powder could fall into the spring water, it had already been swept away by the ki. The extreme will heavenly spring still needs a few more days to achieve its best effect. After a few more days, King will be able to transform into a human body, and his strength will be restored. The blood flame scaled beast endured the pain in its body and shook its huge head. Its blood-red eyes revealed a wild joy. At that time, no heavenly beast would be a match for it in this outer mountain. It could also walk out of this place and explore the Star-Moon Spirit Domain. I have been oppressed by the Yunlo Academy for so long. Before I leave, I will kill a few elders and let them know how powerful King is. A ferocious smile emerged on its face, revealing its pale teeth. The blood flame scaled beast let out a low roar, sending out a sound wave that instantly shattered the rock in front of it. Someone is approaching. The blood flame scaled beast's nose twitched, and it immediately sensed several human auras. Although these auras were extremely weak, there were many of them. Another bunch of reckless little things from the Yunlo Academy. Gritting its teeth, a struggle flashed across the blood flame scaled beast's eyes. After that, it stepped forward and gently sucked some of the spring water. Immediately, the injuries in its body eased a little. The blood flame scaled beast looked at the extremely dark sky spring in front of it with some pain. Its blood-red eyes were overflowing with cold light. Every time it lost a little, the effect of the extremely cold sky spring would weaken a little. This bite was completely cutting off the flesh in its heart. These bastards! How dare they have designs on the extreme will heavenly spring? None of them will be able to leave today. You are the ones who came out to seek your own death. Those old bastards from the Yunlo Academy won't be able to find King. With a grin on its face, the huge blood-red wings on the back of the blood flame scaled beast flapped, and it flew towards the entrance of the canyon, shattering all the surrounding boulders. If my guess is correct, this blood flame scaled beast's strength is at most at the Monarch Emperor. Even so, you guys don't have the strength to fight it. Not far from the canyon, Lu Xiangyang once again reminded them. His eyes flickered slightly as he said in a soft voice, "All you need to do is attract its attention. The few captains of punishment department and I will naturally attack at the most opportune moment and fight for a chance to kill it. You want us to be cannon fodder." As soon as Lu Xiangyang's voice faded, someone in the crowd shouted out. At the same time, everyone looked at Lu Xiangyang. They weren't stupid. They could clearly understand the meaning behind Lu Xiangyang's words. You guys don't know the characteristics of the blood flame scaled beast. Lu Xiangyang was not angry. He looked at the young man who spoke first with an expressionless face and said in a clear voice, "The blood flame scaled beast was originally an emperor cultivation heavenly beast. It has intelligence that is not lower than a human's. It is unlike those low-level spirit beasts that attack anything that enters its territory. Therefore, the blood flame scaled beast naturally won't care about you all. It will only focus all of its attention on us emperors." Pausing, Lu Xiangyang spread his hands and said, "You guys misunderstood my meaning. I am the captain of the punishment department. I must treat everyone fairly. I will not let you be cannon fodder. As long as you are around it, try your best to attract its attention and provide an opportunity for our attack. Of course, we will not watch from afar. We'll be mixed among you and waiting for an opportunity to attack." After saying so much with an innocent face, Lu Xiangyang looked at the crowd with a bitter smile and said with a desolate expression, "I have always been thinking for everyone's sake. Everyone is still suspicious of me. Since that's the case, let's disperse. Everyone will fight for themselves. Let's all fulfill Xiaoyan's wish." Seeing the trace of loneliness in Lu Xiangyang's eyes, some of them couldn't bear it. Under the lead of a few disciples from the punishment department, although some of them had doubts in their hearts, they all voiced out and agreed to Lu Xiangyang's previous suggestion. In that case, I'll leave it to all of you. Seeing that everyone had agreed, Lu Xiangyang smiled slightly. There was a sense of relief in his smile as he cupped his hands towards everyone. Zhuang He, who was standing at the side, was also beaming with joy. There was even a hint of pride in his heart. This captain's acting skills were indeed powerful. He had gotten these guys to agree so easily. Chapter End. Battle Through the Firmament. Grand World. Chapter 374 Appear. Little bastards of the Yunlo Academy, you guys are really bold. You are just a bunch of emperors. How dare you have designs on the extreme will heavenly spring. While they were talking, a deep roar suddenly sounded out. In the next moment, a strong wind blew, and the blood flame-scaled beast flew out from the canyon. Its blood-red eyes instantly locked onto Lu Xiangyang and the others in the distance. Don't worry, its strength is only at the Monarch Emperor. All of us are strong enough to defeat it. The sudden appearance of the blood flame-scaled beast had caused everyone to panic. Lu Xiangyang hastily shouted out to calm everyone down. The group of students who had calmed down also looked at the blood flame-scaled beast. The ferocious aura from the latter's body filled the air, causing some of the weaker students to not dare look at it directly. According to what we said earlier, everyone, move. At this point, Lu Xiangyang shouted loudly. This step was the most important part of his plan. If these guys acted according to his instructions, it was really possible to kill this blood flame-scaled beast. With just you guys. Before the group could take action, the furious blood flame-scaled beast had already soared into the sky. The huge wings on its back flapped, and numerous fireballs that emitted a corrosive aura surged out from the two horns on its head and struck the group below. Lu Xiangyang's expression changed. He had underestimated the impatience of the blood flame-scaled beast. Without giving him any time to prepare, it directly launched an attack. Everyone, dodge! Lu Xiangyang gritted his teeth. At this time, he did not care about anything. His body flashed quickly and dodged the fireball. The fireball hit the ground and immediately corroded the ground, forming a circular pit the size of a millstone. The other students were not slow either. All of them dodged in succession. However, a few students were still struck by the rapid impact of the fireball. Black flames immediately ignited on their skin, burning all the origin kiss. In an instant, several miserable cries of pain sounded. These students, who were merely Monarch Spirit Emperor level, were simply unable to resist the corrosive flame of the blood flame-scaled beast. The origin kiss protecting their bodies were completely incinerated, invading their skin. Their internal organs were violently burned, causing them to faint one after another. Big brother, we can't attack it at all. Zhuang He was somewhat flustered as he dodged a few attacks from the corrosive flame. His face was pale as he said, no matter how weak the blood flame-scaled beast was, just the fact that it could fly had already placed it in an undefeatable position. I know. Lu Xiangyang's face was gloomy and uncertain. The power of these corrosive flames. Due to the decline of the blood flame-scaled beast's strength, it did not pose much of a threat to him. However, to these ordinary students, it was a complete disaster. The original plan was for these students to stall the blood flame-scaled beast, and they would wait for an opportunity to use the explosive killing talisman that they had exchanged from the spirit pavilion to kill it. The current situation had caught him off guard. Let's leave first. The blood flame-scaled beast is injured, it won't chase after us. Lu Xiangyang calmed down and said in a deep voice. This test had completely failed. Alright, everyone listen up. Let's leave this place quickly. Everyone was stunned when they heard Zhuang He's words. Yang Tao, who was dodging in all directions, roared furiously. Then what about these students? Are we just going to let them go? Lu Xiangyang frowned. A trace of killing intent flashed in his heart, but he still said in a deep voice, they will be fine. The heavenly beast in the outer mountain has been warned by the academy elders. They are not allowed to attack any students. Bastard. Hearing Lu Xiangyang's explanation, Yang Tao could not help but curse. In this kind of situation, even if a few people died, they could still go there to reason. Those who don't want to die, leave now. After letting out a low roar, Lu Xiangyang's figure flashed and he had already left this place. Seeing Lu Xiangyang leave, the rest of them lost their will to fight and hastily fled. You want to leave? In midair, the blood flame-scaled beast's blood-red eyes were filled with a cold light. With a roar, its enormous body swooped down. Swoosh! Just as it caught up to the group, the blood flame-scaled beast's ears suddenly moved. After which, its body suddenly stopped. Its blood-red eyes suddenly looked towards the entrance of the canyon. There, a blood-red figure quietly appeared and rushed straight into the canyon. Who is it? The blood flame-scaled beast immediately abandoned the few students in front of it and rushed towards the canyon. There was a heavenly spring of extreme intent inside, and it couldn't afford to lose anything. That is, Zhu Tianhou. Lu Xiangyang immediately stopped when he sensed the blood flame-scaled beast leaving. He saw a fiery red figure flash past the canyon entrance. That figure was extremely familiar. Why did he appear? Lu Xiangyang's expression changed. A trace of struggle flashed across his eyes. After that, he quietly broke away from a few students who were fleeing in a hurry and rushed into the canyon. Shaoyan, who was resting on a huge rock, suddenly had a change of expression. He used his spiritual strength to probe this area for a long time. Finally, he could vaguely sense a wild and violent aura at a certain spot. That kind of feeling was definitely not something that any student possessed. He took out his token and took a look at it. The score on it had already risen to 200 points. 15 minutes ago, Shaoyan had coincidentally met Yi Yi. As one of the top-ranked students in the Soaring Dragon ranking, the score in the latter's hand was originally 100 points. After meeting, the two did not say much. Yi Yi's expression was gloomy as he handed all the points on the token to Shaoyan. Looking up, Shaoyan was silent for a moment, and then his figure flashed. Lu Xiangyang had already gathered most of his people to form an alliance to deal with him. Although he wasn't afraid, this score might not necessarily be higher than Lu Xiangyang's. If he was overtaken by them, he would become a laughing stock. It's the Yunlo Academy's little devil again. You can't blame me for coming here to seek your own death. In the canyon, the blood flame-scaled beast fell to the ground. Cold light shone from its blood-red eyes, as if it was going to tear the young man in front of it apart. The young man's red robe was extremely tattered, and his long hair was as red as flames. A 5-leaf flame pattern was faintly imprinted on his forehead. The young man's eyes were cold as he looked at the blood flame-scaled beast. In the face of the latter's monstrous aura, he wasn't affected at all. The origin key around his body seemed to resonate with the fire source key in the air. A layer of faint flaming armor was formed around his body. It was Zhu Tianhou. I heard that the extreme will heavenly spring is a rare healing treasure. It can heal almost any kind of injury and also greatly enhance one's strength. I, Zhu Tianhou of Yunlo Academy, am here to borrow some of the spring water. Zhu Tianhou waved his sleeve and looked at the blood flame-scaled beast. Dream on. The blood flame-scaled beast was immediately enraged. Its large front claw directly swatted at Zhu Tianhou's head. The latter's body swayed and easily dodged. Your strength used to be a high-grade heavenly beast. Naturally, I wouldn't dare to offend you. However, right now, you are at most at the Monarch Emperor. It's impossible for you to kill me. After jumping onto a huge rock on the cliff wall, Zhu Tianhou gently smiled. His voice didn't have the slightest fluctuation. Even if I only have the strength of a Monarch Emperor, killing an emperor like you is still more than enough. The blood flame-scaled beast's intelligence wasn't low either. Seeing Zhu Tianhou's calm demeanor, it didn't rashly make a move and spoke in a rough voice. You are wrong. I am an emperor who can kill Monarch Emperor warriors. Zhu Tianhou's eyelids twitched when he heard this. A smile that seemed like a heavy burden appeared on his face. After that, his body shook. Countless flames surged out from his pores and enveloped him, turning him into a fireman. In an instant, the temperature in this canyon suddenly soared. The rock wall that Zhu Tianho's palm was pressing against had even quietly melted. Chapter End. Battle Through the Firmament. Grand World. Chapter 375. Ambush Failed. The sudden rise in temperature in the canyon made the blood flame-scaled beast feel it instantly. A trace of shock flashed across its blood-red eyes as it said ferociously, "This is. Your physique is actually different from ordinary people." Zhu Tianho lightly clenched his palm and inserted his 5 fingers into the rock wall. He easily grabbed onto a rock that was as hard as iron. Zhu Tianho slowly extended his hand. His face was expressionless. He clenched his 5 fingers tightly, and sand slowly flowed out from his fingertips. At the same time, a cold voice sounded. "My constitution is the sacred fire body. The current you may not be my match." Sacred fire body. Does the Yunlo Academy also have such a constitution? The blood flame-scaled beast was obviously shocked when it heard this. Then, it raised its head to the sky and let out a furious roar. Its eyes were filled with endless killing intent. "Arrogant. Even if you are one of the 3 great ancient combat bodies, King will still kill you." After it finished speaking, the blood flame-scaled beast had already soared into the sky. Although its body was huge, its movements were unusually agile. Its sharp claws tore through the air and struck directly at Zhu Tianho's face. Bang! Zhu Tianho's feet lightly tapped on the rock wall. He jumped in the air and dodged the sharp claws of the blood flame-scaled beast. The sharp claws smashed into the rock wall, causing gravel to fly everywhere. Su! In the gap where Zhu Tianho dodged, the tail of the blood flame-scaled beast was like a bolt of lightning, sweeping across the air and creating a cracking sound. It was full of strength as it attacked Zhu Tianho. There was no leverage in the air. When he sensed the strength of the tail of the blood flame-scaled beast, Zhu Tianho's expression changed slightly. Immediately, he let out a soft snort. The fire source energy around his body shook. He stretched out both of his hands and firmly grabbed the tail of the blood flame-scaled beast. With the help of this strength, Zhu Tianho landed on the ground, and his feet tightly gripped the ground. Buzz! Lowering his body, the origin key in Zhu Tianho's hand rolled. His body flashed rapidly like red lightning as he rushed towards the blood flame-scaled beast. "It's really him." Lu Xiangyang quietly entered the canyon. He immediately saw Zhu Tianho, who had engaged in a bitter fight with the blood flame-scaled beast. The latter's figure was agile and was actually in a deadlock with the blood flame-scaled beast for a moment. Why has his strength increased by so much? He secretly observed for a moment. Lu Xiangyang's eyes were filled with shock. Before the inner courtyard competition, Zhu Tianho's strength had already far exceeded his. However, it was still far from his current strength. Even after coming out of illusory spirit space, his strength hadn't increased much. It had only been 2 months, but this fellow's strength had already reached this level, and he was able to tie with the blood flame-scaled beast for the time being. ... Damn it, I'm the only one who's still at the same place. Thinking of this, Lu Xiangyang's chest tightened. His heart was filled with anxiety, and his eyes turned red. Boundless jealousy filled his heart. It had only been a few days. Wu Shaoqi, who was almost as strong as him, had already become a monarch emperor and entered the realm in Valley. She was an unknown Zhu Tianho. He had also become a popular figure in the realm in Valley. Although he was the captain of the punishment department, in the hearts of many elders, they still couldn't compare to these people. And that Shaoyan. Boundless fury was burning in his heart. Lu Xiangyang's 5 fingers had already sunk deep into the rock wall. His originally hesitant thoughts had now become extremely firm. No matter what method he used, he had to enter the realm in Valley. Zhu Tianho's body was like fire. His toes lightly stepped on the ground. His palm rotated, and a fire blade shot out. The sound of explosions kept erupting in the air. He violently smashed onto the blood flame-scaled beast's abdomen, cutting out a shallow wound. What an amazing defensive power! Zhu Tianhou frowned slightly. This attack was a skill that he had recently comprehended. It was enough to cut open a mountain rock. He didn't expect that it would only cause a bloody wound to appear on the blood flame-scaled beast's body. It must be the effect of the spring water. Seeing the bloody wound slowly closing up at a speed visible to the naked eye, a bright light flashed in Zhu Tianhou's eyes. This was exactly what he lacked. If he could obtain it, the intensity of his cultivation would increase again, and the time he needed to deeply comprehend the sacred spirit fire body would be greatly reduced. Damned brat! Seeing Zhu Tianhou looking at the extreme will heavenly spring, the blood flame-scaled beast instantly exploded. Its four hooves stomped on the ground, and an oppressive murderous aura filled the air. When it came into contact with the fire source key around Zhu Tianhou's body, a buzzing sound instantly erupted. Zhu Tianhou stood tall and straight. The origin key in his body was surging, and the flame pattern between his brows was also blooming. The flame power that could shock one's mind soared into the sky, and with a wave of his arm, it incinerated the endless murderous aura that was rushing towards him into nothingness. Holy Spirit Flame, Void. The flames in Zhu Tianhou's eyes jumped, and he soared into the sky, like a circulating flame. He spread his arms slightly, and endless flames surged out from the void, turning into ferocious fire dragons. The fire dragons roared, as if they were going to burn this part of the valley to ashes. Sensing the power of this monarch skill, a trace of panic finally flashed across the blood flame-scaled beast's eyes. The blood key on its body spread out, as if a sea of blood was flowing out. The blood sea was filled with an endless amount of evil energy as it rushed towards the fire dragons. Woo! The huge python leapt out from the sea of blood and violently collided with the roaring fire dragon. The explosive power directly shattered the surrounding rock walls, causing fragments to scatter in all directions. The aftershocks continued, one man and one beast paying the down payment distance. The distance to the extreme intent heavenly spring was also quite a distance away, but it did not affect them at all. Lu Xiangyang, who was hiding at the side, was hit by the aftershock. His chest tightened, and he almost couldn't help but spurt out a mouthful of blood. I can't even withstand the aftershock. A deep sense of powerlessness came from the bottom of his heart. Lu Xiangyang's mind was buzzing. He and Zhu Tianhou's strength had unknowingly become so much weaker. Boom! The sky-shaking sound gradually dissipated. When the smoke dispersed, a human figure staggered and fell to the ground. His legs trembled, and he almost fell to the ground. On the other side, the blood flame-scaled beast was also covered in wounds. The extreme will heavenly spring was unable to quickly heal its wounds. Its aura was weak, and it was obvious that it had suffered a great injury. Now is the time. Lu Xiangyang recovered his senses. When he saw the human and beast duo, his heart rejoiced. With a flip of his wrist, two blue explosive killing talismans appeared in his hands. The power of the blue explosive killing talismans was sufficient to cause a normal emperor to be seriously injured. With the current injuries of the human and beast duo, they would definitely be able to easily injure them. With the explosive killing talisman in his hand, Lu Xiangyang suddenly hesitated. Once he went out, it was very likely that he would kill him. If the elders found out about this, he would definitely receive a heavy punishment. When he thought of the strength that Zhu Tianhou had displayed just now, the last bit of hesitation was instantly drowned by jealousy. An endless amount of madness flashed across Lu Xiangyang's eyes. As long as he could enter the realm in valley, no matter who it was, they wouldn't be able to stop him. With a flick of his wrist, two explosive killing talismans were about to be thrown out. A slender arm stretched out like lightning. His fingers moved continuously and caught the two explosive killing talismans between his fingers. Who is it? Lu Xiangyang was startled. He didn't lose his voice as he shouted. His voice also startled Zhu Tianhou and the blood flame-scaled beast. They both looked towards the entrance of the canyon. I say, the two of you were really careless. You didn't even notice this guy. With a light laugh, Xiaoyan held the explosive killing talisman in his hand. With a sudden grab, the explosive killing talisman exploded with a loud bang. The intense energy shattered the huge rock not far away. As for Xiaoyan, his clothes were fluttering in the wind. There wasn't even a trace of injury on his body. Zhu Tianhou, your strength has increased by so much. Both of his deep eyes looked at Zhu Tianhou. Xiaoyan clapped his hands. The turtle shell-like crack on his body also quietly disappeared. Chapter end. Please guys like, comment, share, and subscribe.